fire.
Alright. After a nice capture of a software error, I started recording again. That's why you didn't hear him say anything. The capture software errored out as he was talking. So he said, I also agree that opening the door is what started the fire. There we go.
Just as I thought. It was the wind pressure. A dust devil blown here from glorious Japan.
No, that's not what it was.
No, not wind pressure. They probably used the Monokuma panels. A huge number of tipped-over Monokuma panels were found at the crime scene, right? It looked like they were scattered everywhere, but some were laying on top of each other in a single line. Just a single line leading from the warehouse door to the fire's origin.
Does that mean anything?
The killer probably arranged those Monokuma panels to create a domino effect.
A domino effect? You mean those tiles kids play with by lining them up and tipping them over?
I like that they think dominoes is some uncommon thing that someone has to completely describe what a domino is. I've never heard of one.
In place of those tiles, the killer used the Monokuma panels. So when we opened the warehouse door, the first panel toppled into the second.
Yeah, right, like dominoes.
And from there, they felt like dominoes until they reached the lighter at the end.
But wouldn't it be obvious that those big panels were falling over?
That's probably why they turned off the lights in the warehouse, so we wouldn't notice them.
So the reason the warehouse was dark was to hide the domino effect.
Yeah, but they knew that you were going to see it right after anyway, once you fucking... Or maybe, you know what, maybe they weren't counting on the sprinkler system working or something. Maybe they didn't know there was a sprinkler system in them, and they thought the whole thing would burn so there'd be no evidence. Because obviously you're going to have a conga line of fucking Monokuma stand-ups as evidence afterward.
And one more thing. There was something else the killer did to hide the domino effect, right?
The killer did one other thing to hide the domino effect. The MP3 player, so you couldn't hear them flapping over. Yep.
I see! You were talking about the MP3 player, right?
Haha.
That hymn blaring throughout the warehouse masked the sound of the falling panels.
Haha. Yeah, the oh hee haw hee haw. That's what they played it.
That's it. So the strange sound was actually the sound of the panels falling.
But those sounds weren't the only strange thing, right? Looking back on it, it was also strange when we opened the door to the warehouse.
It's fine, I'll open it slowly. No, that's not the problem. Seriously, it'll be fine. But those words are kind of brushed off everyone's warnings to slowly open the door to the warehouse. Oh, you know what? I hate to say it. I think it's Akane. Because guess what? She was the one who didn't care if like there'd be an explosion if she opened the door to the warehouse or not. She just busted through. Probably because she's the one who set it up and knew that those stand-ups were there. Yep. I almost guarantee it. I could be wrong, but I think it's her now. Or she's involved.
Ah, so the door was being blocked by a Monokuma panel.
And when we opened the door, the domino effect started, and the falling panels eventually reached the lighter. Yeah, and that's how the warehouse caught on fire. At least, that's how it looks.
By the way, doesn't it, I swear to God, doesn't it look like a Dark Souls boss door in the background? Doesn't that look like the boss fog from Dark Souls or Bloodborne? What's back there? Is fucking some giant alien back there with tentacles or
You
something?
don't look so sure.
At the time, Akane mentioned that she could barely open the door.
Because the panel was blocking it, right?
But the blocked doorway, there wasn't enough space for a person to fit through, right?
Is that a problem?
It's a major problem. I mean, that door was the only entrance to the warehouse.
Ah, so maybe my theory is correct then, and it was Nagato who set the whole thing up. He set up the Monokumas. He set up the lighter. He set up it to look like he was like someone had murdered him, when in reality he did it to himself. That was my original theory. That's what I'm sticking with. I still think that he did it himself. It was an elaborate setup to kill himself, and he used his ultimate luck to make sure nothing went wrong with the plan. If that door is the only entrance to the warehouse, I see. The problem Shaki's talking about is the killer couldn't have left.
I see.
If the panel was so close to the door that it could barely be open, the killer inside the warehouse wouldn't be able to leave, right?
Now that you mention it.
Does that mean they were hiding inside?
Who? We were all outside the warehouse, you know.
Based on the patterns up until now, I believe some kind of setup was used.
Another one. Every time she says that,
You
it
don't
works.
have to think so hard. There's actually only one person who could have possibly done this.
Nagato.
You don't mean...
If that's true, this murder...
Hajime? What do you mean?
The person who set up the domino effect inside the warehouse. There's only one person who could have done it. Nagato. Byakuya! Imposter Byakuya. That's who it was now.
This is my answer. What if it was Nagito?
Why'd you bring him up? He's the victim, you know.
He wasn't just the victim. Maybe.
Aha.
Huh?
Not just the victim? What does that mean?
He was the victim. And he was the perpetrator, too. Maybe.
Nice music, maybe.
Are you saying this was a suicide? Don't be stupid. His body was covered in torture wounds. Or did you already forget? Are you saying those were all self-inflicted?
But Nagito might do something like that, don't you think?
Yeah, because he's crazy.
That's not the issue. He was tied up, remember?
Oh.
Even for a creep like Nagito, it'd be impossible for him to tie up his own arms and legs.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, as long as you understand.
Oh, calm down now.
It seems we need to discuss how Nagito was able to tie himself up.
Need to discuss? That's not necessary at all. No matter how much you think about it, it's clearly impossible.
Like you said, he's impossible if you think about it, but I feel like I'm overlooking something. Okay. Make your argument. What was that? Fart noises that tune to the music.
To actually tie up your own arms and legs. That's obviously impossible.
Tying just the legs is one thing, but tying both arms would be impossible.
You couldn't do much with the free arm.
It'd be impossible if you were by yourself.
How about if you use your teeth?
Use your teeth.
Or
No.
if you use your front tail?
What?
Dirty joke! Is that a dirty joke?
A penis. You see the front tail. Alright. So here's the thing. They say, oh, all his legs and limbs were tied up. No, they weren't. If you remember, there was one of his limbs had a rope that was burnt. The burnt rope could have been a setup to make it look like he was tied up, but in reality, that hand was never actually tied up. That's what I'm thinking. It was a setup. It was not actually tied up. Alright, let's try again.
To actually tie up your own arms and legs. That's obviously impossible.
Tying just the legs is one thing, but tying both arms would be impossible.
You couldn't do much with the free arm.
It'd be impossible if you were by yourself.
How about if you use your teeth?
You were by yourself.
Or
huh?
if you use your front tail?
Use your front tail.
Dirty joke! Is that a dirty joke?
Shit.
To actually tie up your own arms and legs. That's obviously impossible.
Tying just the legs is
Oh!
one thing, but
I've got it. I
tying
got
both
it.
arms would be impossible.
Watch this. I got it. It's the survival knife. Because if he was fully tied up, then who the hell stabbed him in the hand? Right? So there's no way that he was by himself.
You couldn't do much with the free arm.
It'd be impossible if you were by yourself.
No, that wasn't right. Fuck! That's not right.
Crap.
Alright, let me think about what are the evidence
To
choices.
actually tie up your own arms and legs. That's obviously impossible.
Tying just the legs is one thing, but
The
tying
wounds, the
both arms would be impossible.
You couldn't do much with the free arm.
It'd be impossible if you were by yourself.
You were by
How
yourself.
about if you use your teeth? Or if you use your front tail?
Dirty joke! Is that a dirty joke?
Wait a minute. I think we're supposed to contradict you were by yourself, right? I think you're supposed to contradict you were by yourself. But who was with him? Based on the evidence I'm looking at, can we prove that someone else was with him? We have to look at the evidence and see if anything ties to anyone.
To actually tie up your own arms and legs. That's obviously impossible.
Tying just the legs is one thing, but
The burned rope is going to come into play here somewhere, but I don't think it's coming into play yet. His right sleeve still looked clean. But, dude, I don't know how this ties in at all. Not duct tape at all. Here's just the other one. A life-size Monokuma plushie that was found on the floor has a huge bloody hole in its stomach as if it was stabbed. Why would there be a bloody hole in a plushie if he was setting up his own suicide? Why would there have been a bloody hole in a plushie? This really doesn't make any sense. This might be it, but I have no idea why. I just can't... everything else, like the knife, okay. You know, the tape is part of it. What the fuck does this plushie have to do with anything? Anything at all? What does this have to do with it? I mean, I got this really far-fetched idea. I don't think it's correct. But maybe Monokuma was actually controlling this plushie. Because we know from Danganronpa 1 that Monokuma can jump from Monokuma doll to Monokuma doll, right? Maybe he was in this doll, and so Nagato got into a fight with him or something and stabbed him, and he had something to do with setting him up? I don't know. This is very confusing. Very confusing. Fuck. Dude, this trial is something else. I am, like, super stumped. The panels have nothing to do with it. That can't have anything to do with it.